But what's the reward? At a rate of no less than 58 words per minute, fingers flying, I can type. I release my thoughts with such speed I hardly notice that I'm parting with my history, my fears, and my shame. And then they are departed. Easy is noticing the comfort of the habitual. Appearing somewhere in the distant expanse, less discernible in quality or number, is the benefit that we reap from sudden exposure. The comforts of home, when reflected, are constant in their upkeep. The newest gadget will unfailingly begin its trudge towards obsolete oblivion the moment it is torn from its packaging. That espresso maker didn't really make the morning task of coffee brewing any easier. So it gets dusty, and Starbucks keeps people coming back for more. As cliché and tangent as it may sound, if that $4 drink before heading to work were replaced with tea every day for a year, the annual savings would be just over $1,000. And that is a cramped seat in coach on a round-way trip to freedom. A prison of our own construction. Every Christmas morning, from toddlerhood through adolescence, the tiniest sliver of dawn across the horizon would send my brother tearing through the house. It was time to wake up because he couldn't wait to open presents. The entire premises alerted. He would dive under the tree, ripping into packages like he'd been bitten with venom, and they contained the life-saving antidote. Skateboards, video game consoles, and only the brand of clothing to which he currently adhered. When the frenzy halted and the last ribbon would embark on its gentle cascade to the floor, he would begin to sob. The hours would eke by, and he would regain his composure in time for more relatives to arrive bearing gifts. This cycle would repeat. I observed the grotesqueness of these displays of fascination. Being inundated with everything my brother had carefully outlined on his Christmas wish list, did absolutely nothing to forestall the inevitable conclusion that once the excitement of new things is over, the person continues on unchanged. My brother's antics aside, they may be viewed on the edge of extreme, but were not seeded to fruition in a void. What he lacked in social refinement, he made up for in honesty, an inversion by which he reflected his society in spades. Breathing the smog of consumer culture, I am not immune. I can think of a few luxury items and/or name brand items I'd simply like to have. But my assertion is just that with a sole focus on the consumable, we come to expose inextricable truths about a purer sort of lack. Objects in the mirror may appear closer than they are. Travel gifts, in comparison, don't require constant motion in order to propagate, and they become permanent fixtures by which value only accrues. Unanticipated and often uninvited, circumstance will likely prevail at some point. The number one benefit I've acquired from the journey thus far is that having temporarily surrendered to the process so far and out, and alone of anything I'd encountered previously, makes giving up my grasp on familiar torments a virtually painless process. I will never again suffer. Immediate freedom. In the face of the unknown, time slows, and I am allotted much more latitude than I ever anticipated to meet challenges where they crop up. It is a waste of reserves to attempt to plan for what cannot be fathomed. The reward inherent is instantaneous disentanglement from fear on the notion that I am seldom met with obstacles I cannot alone manage. The growth is momentary, and at once time released. I'd been puzzled by a scene I witnessed in the middle of the night in Beijing. A woman tearing up multicolored shreds of paper before burning them. Many months afterwards, coming across a description of grieving rituals of ethnic Han Chinese. Though unaware, I'd observed others seeking peaceful absolution and the means of letting go. I became eventually conscious of the gift, and at an interval when I needed it most. The stakes are high, the reward unknown, and I don't regret a single minute.